Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. That's cold. So I don't know if you've noticed, but people have been really into horoscopes lately. From zodiac signs as characters from The Office to Snapchat telling me which planets are in retrograde, I've gotta ask, why are horoscopes making a comeback? So I've always kind of considered horoscopes kind of like fortune cookies. They're there, they're entertaining, but afterwards you kind of forget about them. But now I'm starting to realize that like a lot of people that I know and respect actually sort of believe them. From star sign personalities to planet alignments, it's really strange because I know that they're not stupid, but I also don't get it. So I figured instead of just making fun of them, I would try to understand them. Horoscopes are a subset of astrology, not to be confused with astronomy. Astronomy is the study of celestial bodies. Astrology is the study of how those celestial bodies influence people. I use the word study very loosely. No matter what the message of this video is, you're not gonna catch me saying that astrology is science. It's not. Anyway, a horoscope is a forecast of a person's future based on the stars' positions at their birth. Now, these beliefs are really common throughout all of civilization, but the modern horoscope really kicks off around the 20th century in the form of celebrity gossip. So there's something you need to know about the 20th century. The First World War killed a lot of people, and that left a lot of the living really spiritual. Now there's this guy named R.H. Naylor who's an astrologer at the Sunday Express newspaper, which was basically BuzzFeed. He writes this horoscope for the newborn Princess Margaret, and it turns out to be surprisingly accurate, but that's not as important as the fact that it was popular. So a week later, he releases a horoscope for the average person called Were You Born in September? I know, it even sounds like a BuzzFeed article, and it goes viral. Or at least the 1930s equivalent of viral, which just means people physically wrote in asking for more. So it carries on into October. Then it turns into a weekly birthday horoscope. Then, to appeal to the widest audience possible, Naylor tailored his horoscopes to star signs instead. You didn't even need to be born that week anymore. He could tell you your future. The editor of the Sunday Express said that the column would interpret the astrological portents likely to influence national and world affairs each week. R.H. Naylor will give warning advice to city men, racing men, and politicians, and will, in addition, tell you what fate may have in store for you if your birthday should fall during the week. And so the modern horoscope was born.
Now, a lot has changed with your sign. 31% of us, it turns out, believe in astrology. Yep, me too.
Many people believe their fate is written in the stars.
Let's see what the stars say.
Now you might be wondering why anyone on Earth would ever even believe horoscopes, whether it's now or 100 years ago. Because they had science. They had stopped using cocaine as medicine. It's because of this thing called the Barnum effect, which was coined by Paul E. Meehl in the American Psychologist Journal. In his article, he basically just dunked on a bunch of clinical psychologists for using tests that succeeded only because they were just generally true in the first place. They didn't require any particular insight or skill. They just needed to know who they were talking to and be strategically vague. P.T. Barnum, the guy the effect is named after, was a showman. The greatest showman, in fact. He learned how to read crowds in order to gain their attention, a lot like how horoscopes read their audience to gain their trust. In fact, one study in the Women's Studies International Forum suggests that stereotypes about race and age contribute way more to a horoscope's prediction than your zodiac sign. Horoscopes in Essence, Glamour, Teen Vogue, all very popular women's magazines, seem to focus on love, work, and money. Or as I like to call it, the Sex and the City trifecta. It works because the statements are vague, so vague that you can't help but reason your way into believing it applies to you. And since you're the one filling in the gaps, it's inevitable that it feels personal. And if it's personalized and the statements are overall positive and they're coming from a source that you respect, well, you're pretty darn likely to believe that they're true. Now, interest in horoscopes sees this really interesting pattern. Overall, interest is gaining over time, likely due to the evolution of media, but it drifts in and out of popularity. Each of these peaks coincide with pretty notable events. The 1830 French Revolution, some wars, the Panic of 1893, the Roaring Twenties, the Cold War, and now. The events seem to have a common theme, not war or a bad economy, or at least not just those things. Because the 20s was after the war and people were thriving overall, but organized crime was rampant and people were still reeling from a war bigger than anyone could have ever imagined. So I believe that these peaks have one thing in common. They occur at times when people are lost. So interest in horoscopes really link back to why horoscopes work in the first place. They feel true. Not that they are true, just that they feel that way, and nothing can take away that feeling. Because when people are rebelling against their government or worried about their future, they can't help but lose a little bit of faith in the system that made it possible. They realize that the rules that they live by aren't set in stone, but rather words on paper, really old paper. And when faith in that system starts to crumble, it's scary, it's terrifying, because you don't know who to trust or what to expect. So, you turn to the one thing that politicians can't touch. The stars, planets, space. The recent rise of interest in horoscopes lines up pretty well with people in the most influential country in the world trusting their government less than ever before. Sure, the internet has fostered this perfect ecosystem for horoscopes to exist, but interest was needed to hit share. And so, if you hit share, it's not because you're stupid. It's not because you're suddenly an anarchist, but it's because your horoscope is this simple, psychologically unavoidable truth. Your horoscope gives you a chance to exercise some faith in everyday life, and so you latch onto it. Horoscopes are making their comeback because people are looking for certainty in uncertain times. I asked you guys on Instagram if you follow your horoscope to tell me why, and here's what you said.
I would say I follow astrology because it gives me a sort of sense of meaning and structure in this usually chaotic world, and it's a fun little thing I like to do, you know?
I like to read and sometimes even follow the horoscopes. It gives me something to think about for when I have time to meditate, and it's always kind of fun to see how you can improve yourself as a person. It helps me not overthink things if I ever run into those situations.
I don't think it's always true, but I do think astrology is cool because you get to know where the stars were where you were born, and it's cool to me that theoretically all the people that were born in this time have similar characteristics and have a somewhat similar experience. Just makes you feel less alone.
Stars explain my fuckery.
It's something to believe in, something bigger that connects us and comforts us and answers us in a time when answers are so hard to come by. And I get it. It is November 21st, 2018. I am a Taurus, and according to horoscope.com, it seems that the new planetary lineup has just opened up some doors that have previously been shut. You revel in the confidence that people have in you. It isn't your abilities that have changed, just your attitude. People trust you because you exhibit more self-confidence. It's a wonderful feeling, isn't it? Hold on to it at all costs. And it might not be true, but I sure hope it is. So what do you think about horoscopes? Did I change your mind? Let me know down below. And I just want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. As a student, I use Squarespace as an interactive resume because, let's face it, my GPA is not impressive, so I need all the help I can get. Their stunning designer templates make me look like I know what I'm doing, and when I don't know what I'm doing, Squarespace's award-winning 24/7 customer service is there to help. And if you sign up using your school email address, you could get 50% off your first purchase. But if you're past school and resumes and you're starting up your own creative ventures, Squarespace's all-in-one platform has everything you need. Website, online store, marketing tools, analytics, it's all there and it's all beautiful. And you get 10% off if you sign up at squarespace.com/Sabrina Cruz. Link in the description. So if you've got an idea, make it with Squarespace. But either way, have a lovely day.